Thanks a lot for being here today with us and to give us a little bit of your experience. You both come, you in the past and you are still in the club, so it will be very, very interesting to see your point of view. I would like to start with you, Dr. Tenconi, to ask you why it's so important to talk about injuries and why we are here today to talk about this topic.
I think that, welcome everyone. I think that it's very important to talk about the sports injuries, football injuries, because there is an issue of the moment in newspapers and in TV. During the last weeks, we heard a lot in terms of sports injuries. And so we prepared some slides as a doctor to help us to explain our view. Me and Jill, we are older than you. We have wiser, we hope, and experienced. So we will try this morning to help help us to understand something more, not only in medical issues in terms of surgeon or rehabilitation, but the strategy to face and prevent. So in preparation, I presented some slides that can help. This is the title of this speech. Is a speech that this guy, one of the most important researchers in the UEFA injury group, did a few months ago during the most important conference in football medicine in Madrid, hosted by and organized by Isokinetic Medical Group, an Italian group. And this guy presented this title. It is the same of the summit this year, and in terms of football medicine and the future. And he told that he did the same speech 8 years before. Thank you. He did the same speech, and during 8 years before, he told that the provisions in terms of injuries in football, top-level football, was that at that time, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, regarding all the scientific data that we had, we expected that a team of 55 players can have this kind of injury at the hamstring muscle, at the ankle, at the ACL, in terms of knee. And 7 years ago, that guy, the researcher of UEFA medical staff, said, we think that in the 2032, the number of injuries in football will increase a lot. Will increase a lot the number of muscle injuries and the ACL injuries. He expected 8 years ago to have 2.5 ACL per team each year. So more than 2 ACL, anterior cruciate ligament injury per year. Few months ago, he repeated this study, and fortunately, something is going better. We are worsening. Injuries are worsening, but less than we expected. So in the next few years, we will expect that each team per season may have this number that you can see, your left, your right, of injury. So it's a very severe issue. And for this reason, I think, and went back to the question, I think that it's very important to talk about foot injury in football. Why? For many reasons. I think for 3 main reasons. The first is this one. After a serious injury, it is not a given that you will return being the same player you were before. This is important. We doctors, we can do everything, but not miracles. So, for this reason, for the health of the player, for the health of the employees, if you speak about the club in terms, we have to be care about injuries. The second reason is the cost. The cost of the injury increased a lot. This graph, you can find thousands of graphs on the web in terms of cost of injury. How is it possible to calculate the cost of an injury? Is the salary divided per the days that you are stopped for injury. This is the calculation of the cost of an injury. And you can see how is increasing the cost of injury. This is the graph that include the most important 5 major leagues in Europe, La Liga, Serie A, and Premier, and so on. And the third, I think the third reason that is very, very important to talk about sports injury in football is that we know, we scientifically, we as the doctors, scientifically know that teams with fewer injuries and more available players tend to perform better. It looks normal, but we scientifically showed if your workers are more present, your final result is better. So for these many reasons, I think that talking about injuries in football, it's very important.
Yeah, and I mean, linked to what Dr. Tencone just told us. Sorry, how do you think, Dr. Rodas, that like how do you at Barca prevent injuries? Because we see that it's actually a lot of. Can we please stay on the presentation? Because I mean, it's a cost. You don't have player available, so this means a lot for a club. And I guess you will do big job to prevent injuries and as well to recover as fast as possible your players. And maybe I know that you will have your secret because I mean the success of Barca is there. But maybe if you can share some tips with us on how you do things at the club.
Of course, Carolina. Prima tutto, grazie mille per l'invitazione to este grande evento. I will try to talk in English, okay? Then, first of all, this is that Football Club Barcelona data. And as you can see, this is over 20 years, our muscle incidents. You know that muscle injury incidents, or muscle injuries are our cancer. We are the doctors, okay? Probably when we are working in the big hospitals, we don't have these problems. But when we are in the sports world, repeat, our cancer is muscle and tendon injuries. So this is all very important. Then, if you are attend to the TV, sometimes players suffer injuries. And it's typical that everyone, when we talk about the injuries, everyone seeing us, the doctors. But look at these slides. These blue bars are the muscle injury incidents of Football Club Barcelona. And the red line is the average of all muscle injury incidents of all European teams that participate in the UEFA study. That means that, of course, during over the different seasons, the incidence is changing. Do you know who is the guilty of this? Are not the doctors. Probably the coaches. Maybe is there some coaches in the room? Never see coaches in the room when we speak about this. Why no? Well, this is for please thinking about this. Well, it's because you can see the incidence is increasing. We try to prevent, but sincerely, it's really very difficult. For this reason, now there is another word very important. It is we can to mitigate. To prevent, sincerely, is very difficult. We can mitigate. That is true. And this is another slide of our club. And as you can see, the real problem between the muscle injuries is hamstring injuries. This is really our cancer. And there are some difference between men and women. And this is another message for everyone. We need to study more women, because during many years, just only focus on men. Please, here they are very young people, please study about women, because they are different, as you can see in these slides. For this reason, as try to answer your question, we are promoting to evaluate and to monitor our players in different terms. From the neurocognitive status, in terms of the genetic susceptibility, in terms of biomechanical status, in terms of hormonal information in women, studying all the omics, that means genetic, transcriptomic, proteomic, metabolomics, of course studying external load, but not only external load using GPS, and of course imaging biomarkers. With all of this information, I can to know many things about our players. And this is one of the objectives of these next years, is to create an avatar of our players. If we can create this avatar, of course, we can try to anticipate to the injuries, and also to create some different scenarios that can permit to the coach to anticipate injuries of our players. This is not the future. This is today.
And this is will be same for all the club, or is something you are developing specifically for Barca?
I believe that Barca probably is one of the clubs, for not to say the only one club in the world, not only the one club, but one of the clubs that try to disseminate all our knowledge in scientific publications, in conferences like this, because really the most important is the last match of the Champions League. And in this game, we need to be the best players. And for this reason, we need to take care of these players during all the season. And I would like to share my knowledge to all doctors from the world, from the Juventus, from the Milan, even, sometimes that is difficult, from Real Madrid. Okay? But even this, but Real Madrid don't want. I'm sorry if there is some fan of Real Madrid, but Real Madrid don't want to participate in this kind of forum. I'm sorry. It's a cheat. It's a pity, but well.
I mean, I really appreciate this, let's say, positive circle you wanna to create, and sharing is caring, as they say. And when it comes to health and, of course, prevent injuries, is really important to share. And thanks a lot for sharing also the part between men and women. We have been talking a lot about women as well. It's something that it's growing and growing, but maybe sometimes it's something taken a little bit as granted. So it's important to say that it's not the same, and you cannot replicate for women what you're doing for men. And this is a really nice angle, and thanks a lot for sharing it. Back to Dr. Tencone.
Because this is the last slide.
Oh, no? Sorry. No, go ahead.
No, but that slide is because sometimes the presidents of the clubs, or the managers say, I don't want to share our knowledge about our players. Today, there are different tools that allow to permit to everyone to participate in different studies with anonymize all the players. This is not an excuse, okay? And this is one example, no? I would like and try many times to promote different kind of research with different clubs in the Europe, in terms of participate and to share knowledge. Repeat, because of course we need big data. Only with our data is not enough to create a good algorithms, for example. Artificial intelligence, as you know, need data, big data. For this reason, I am not sure if here people from another clubs, I encourage you to participate in this kind of big studies in Europe.
Thanks a lot. And back to you, Dr. Tencone. Can you please tell us what are the modern cornerstone of injury prevention when it comes about football?
The cornerstone, we just heard Jill Rodas, Dr. Rodas, that explain us what now is the level of scientific attention to the player. And for prevention, for mitigate injuries, we know many things. But I think in the last years, we learned two main things. The first is this sentence. Before him, this guy, 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, so it's not so old news, me, maybe not me, but me as a doctor, the coaches, we thought that to avoid injuries was better to reduce the load of training, and so a kind of prevention. I do less, so I hurt less. Enormous mistake. You have to train harder, but train better. This sentence changed our mind, changed the approach, changed our approach as a doctors, not yet as a coaches. But we are here to move them to understand this. So one milestone is to avoid or to mitigate injuries, you have to train harder. In a smarter way, avoid the peaks, spikes, but harder. The second milestone, according to me, is this. We understood that the players are not so perfect in movements. They had a great performance, but the movement, the single analysis of the movement showed us that they are not so perfect. So study and correct the wrong movements is a great part of our job. The player doesn't hurt because of the opponent. Most of the injuries are without a pushing, without a crash with the opponent. So we understand that the player doesn't hurt because of the opponent, doesn't hurt because of the pitch, doesn't hurt because of the fog, but most of the time it hurts because of the movement, because it does wrong movements. Study them and correct them, I think it's very, very important for us.
And one question that actually came up, like, okay, so you told us that you have more data, you prevent more, you now train more and harder and smarter as well. So why do we have more injuries than before? Is that because they play more games? Is that because maybe they don't have enough time to recover between a game and the other? Why the numbers are increasing?
We believe we believe there are two things that are very important. Our players today are playing with more intensity. And another factor is the density. As you know, the best players of the world are playing twice per week. And then I would like to see this slide. It's not easy, but this is a photo of a muscle biopsy. Muscle biopsy, as you know, I have a picture of your muscle 3 days after a match, a football match. This muscle is injured. The player don't know, but when you watch in TV a match on Wednesday, please, thinking about this. Our players are not 100% ready. They are fatigued and with a little bit injuries that probably the player didn't feel nothing, but is injured in their muscle. For this reason, 72 hours are not enough in order to have a good recovery. Also, we know, because when we are going to the scientific conference, we talk about always the same. I think that today we have the opportunity in another kind of the summit of the conference to say, please thinking about this, because our players constantly are suffering a inflammation process. And if we want to arrive to the end of the league, or the Champions League, we need to take into account these kind of things. I think that for this reason, this is our final message. Yeah. We prepared yesterday in order to say, please, if we want to have and enjoy this player, like other stars, of course, we must listen to what science says. And repeat, and take care of him for the benefits of this great spectacle that is football.
Yes, this is this message, and it is a medical message for us, because we think that we could do better, because science teaches us that we know more news that can help the spectacle, that can help the health of our player. So the final message is help us as doctors to bring better our messages, our knowledge, listen to us, and above all, the message is to the coaches. Mm-hmm. The coach in football is the key, is the boss, absolutely the boss of all the group, also of the medical group. He is the boss, he's in charge of everything. So he's in charge also of the health. Not because he is a doctor, he needs to be a doctor, but because he has to share the time to use for prevention or to use for tactical activities. So for the reason, the message is the football medicine is going up, is going forward. You the avatar player that Barca team is preparing now. It's not future, it's now, it's today. And so for this reason, help us to bring the message, mitigate, prevent injuries is very important for many reasons, and we can do better.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. We have 5 minutes left, so if anyone from the crowd wants to come up with some question, we have a microphone. Just one.
Anche in italiano va benissimo. Il dottor Rotas capisce, comprende l'italiano.
Sì.
Non ci sono.
Non funziona. Oh sì. Yeah, sì. Italiano, spagnolo, inglese? English?
Spagnolo.
Come quieras.
Italiano.
Ok, grazie mille per tutta questa informazione, credo che sia importantissimo. Volevo chiedere una cosa, perché ieri sono stata alla conferenza di Nicoletta, la mental coach. Non so se l'avete visto. No? Ok. E lei ha portato una cosa molto interessante. Io lavoro pure con corpo, mente, emozioni, no? Con gli atleti. E lei ha detto che il fatto di lavorare sulla mente può aiutare a prevenire le lesioni. Sì? E per me è una verità, perché ho esperienza in questo, e quindi volevo chiedere un po' se questo fatto, la parte soprattutto emozionale, è considerata a questo livello, oltre a tutti questi fattori, no? Quindi la qualità degli allenamenti, però si considera anche un po' questo, no? Perché in realtà quando poi un giocatore entra, passa per un infortunio, ovviamente c'è tutto un fattore emozionale che in realtà insomma, ha un effetto, no? Poi anche sulla chimica del corpo, è stato un po' anche dimostrato dalla neuroscienza. Vorrei sapere se questo si sta considerando un po', e tra l'altro penso interessantissimo il fatto che state studiando la differenza tra uomini e donne, perché poi anche lì io ho notato molte differenze nella psicologia degli atleti, no? Le donne, come vengono gestite le emozioni, tra uomini e donne c'è una gran differenza e vorrei sapere un po' questo.
Enorme.
Esatto, sì.
Lo spogliatoio maschile e lo spogliatoio femminile sono due mondi completamente differenti.
Sì. Quindi vorrei sapere un po' l'opinione, insomma, come si sta guardando anche questo aspetto.
I started then. The issue is the mental approach to prevent or to treat the injuries. Per quanto riguarda l'approccio mentale è fondamentale, ci mancherebbe. Qui noi stavamo cercando di far vedere, far notare, dimostrare la prevenzione all'infortunio. Quindi questo è certamente un approccio scientifico, cerca di essere scientifico. Non ho grandi informazioni scientifiche sull'approccio mentale, psicologico e l'infortunio. Jill ci aiuterà su questo. Non c'è il minimo dubbio, noi stiamo cercando di dare informazioni il più possibile scientifiche, quindi non solo di tipo emozionale o di esperienza. Io e il dottor Rodas abbiamo 35 anni di esperienza, potremmo raccontare un sacco di cose, ma vorremmo smettere di raccontare aneddoti e vorremmo dare messaggi sicuri dal punto di vista scientifico. Questo è il passaggio per dare più validità alle cose che diciamo. Non è solo lo spogliatoio che ti dice, che ti racconta l'esperienza, l'allenatore che io ai miei tempi mi ero fatto male, allora si fa così. Vorremmo non introdurre, perché non siamo i primi, ci mancherebbe, ma vorremmo portare un messaggio sempre più serio, sempre più scientifico nel mondo dello sport in generale e del calcio in particolare. Something about the mental approach.
Well, probably we need hours to talk about this. Of course, that is very important. But when we try to create this avatar, I talk with all psychologists in terms that, please, let me know some variables in order to put inside of this avatar. No? And, well, just only numbers, just only what? Because, of course, in terms of the psychologists, there are some things that it is impossible to measure by numbers. For this reason, yes, it's very important, but repeat, we need, and this is a great challenge, in order to incorporate in this kind of avatars something that can be measurable. This is not easy. And this is a nice, well, this is one thing. And the second thing is today, these clubs are trying to promote three kinds of psychologists in our clubs. One psychologist is for the players. One psychologist is for our coaches, because coaches is who to manage all the car, no? And also sometimes we need psychologists for the staff of the club, because we are living constantly in a big pressure every day. No? This is a great challenge. This is a topic that we need to talk about more about this. But with these two things that I told you, maybe I tried to answer something.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to know because, of course, you're talking about neuroscience explains how there are studies done already. So I just wanted to know if you are considering these type of things or not. But thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
We still have time for one other question.
Per quanto riguarda invece, come avete parlato, l'aspetto degli allenatori, cosa potrebbero pensare appunto gli allenatori qualora lo staff medico dovesse suggerire una scheda di allenamento per un determinato giocatore che magari è stato individuato più sensibile o più debole attraverso l'utilizzo di questi avatar o intelligenza artificiale, magari molto tempo prima? Pensate che l'allenatore potrebbe appunto assecondare questa richiesta anche se si tratta di un lasso temporale molto elevato, o preferirebbe allenare prevalentemente la parte tecnico-tattica per poi approfondire l'aspetto medico una volta che si è più vicini al rischio di infortunio?
I will answer in Italian è proprio questa la chiave. Nel momento in cui tu chiedi cosa potrebbe pensare o cosa potrebbe fare l'allenatore, siamo proprio di fronte al vero momento, il vero dilemma. E noi abbiamo una serie di informazioni, così come gli athletic trainers hanno una serie di informazioni, che vengono date poi alla fine all'allenatore, che è il capo del gruppo. È il capo del gruppo. E quindi è l'allenatore, nella sua lungimiranza o nel guardare solo la partita di domani, può valere anche questo, non è per forza negativo guardare la partita di domani, nella lungimiranza o nel guardare la partita di domani dovrà prendere delle decisioni. È per questo che se sei la chiave di tutto devi prendere delle decisioni. Si chiama leadership questa. E se non fai niente, sei comunque un leader, si chiama laissez-faire leadership. Quindi qualunque cosa tu faccia, nella posizione in cui sei, prendi una decisione. Noi forniamo, siamo un servizio. Non siamo noi a fare la scheda tecnica di come deve allenarsi il giocatore, ma ci mancherebbe. Noi siamo un servizio, portiamo delle informazioni, quando si parla di prevenzione, siamo un servizio che deve essere preso nella considerazione che ogni singolo allenatore deciderà di fare. Quindi noi forniamo informazioni. It's very curious to know what happened now in your club, in your team, when you present the data of the first avatars. How this is by the coach?
Today, our coaches need to learn about this. But it's true that that is not easy. Of course, our coaches are thinking of the next weekend, maybe 2 weekends more, okay? But this is for the future. And sometimes our coaches say us, Doc, I need to win next weekend, because if I don't win next weekend, maybe the club cut my head. For this reason, they are as a two speeds. But believe me, if I tell you that our coaches believe in this tool, thinking of in the future. But it's true that in order to make decisions for next weekend, we need a little bit more robust results. Okay, for this reason, our algorithms need to be higher. But repeat, this is the future. And always when I talk with the coaches, say, please, learn about this, because sure that you will use this tool in the future.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I think it has been a very insightful panel. So thanks a lot for being with us, to both of you, and to answer as well to their question. It has been a pleasure, and big applause.